number 2 in scoring defense this year, also number 2 in yardage given up, and they've got a new defensive coordinator, got rid of Wade Phillips after this year. What are you seeing that's similar or different compared to years past under Brandon Staley and how they're attacking teams?
Well, I think Coach Staley's doing a great job with them. They've done a great job with their defense. They keep getting better every game, after every game, and it's going to be a tough challenge. Every time we play these guys, it's always a great challenge, and we always look forward to the battle. We know it's going to be a great game, and I think they fly around. They do a lot of great things. They got a lot of great payers. Obviously, Aaron Donald is arguably one of the best players to ever play this game in that position for sure, and Brockers a great player. They got a lot of guys, so. The addition of Floyd, too, is a great player. Obviously Ramsey, as special as it gets at the cornerback position. So it's going to be a great matchup, and we have a great offense, too, and they got a great defense, and it'll be a great game.
Ben.
Hey, Russ, you've talked a lot about how emotional neutrality is. You've taken a lot of pride in that with the highs and lows in your own play and in moments and games. I was wondering what goes into like cultivating and nurturing that on a daily basis and what that tangibly looks like for you every day.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great question. I think the first thing I think that in terms of neutral thinking and neutrality is your language. Just that self-talk that you give yourself. What are you saying to yourself? What how do you speak? What does that look like? How do you speak to your teammates? How do you speak to others? In the midst of the good times and also tough times. And I think anytime you want to be great at anything, there's always going to be a little bit of rain. I think that sometimes the rain's okay because it allows the harvest. Allows great things to happen. And I think that's just kind of what I've always believed. So I think also too tangibly, I'm a person that writes out goals, writes out missions, try to keep it simple, but also try to have a plan every day. And I think, and just stay focused on the task. I truly believe, staying the course is the best flow, best order of action, every day. And I trust my plan. I trust how I prepare. I think we do as a team, and I think that's what makes us, be able to play at the level we play, pretty much every week.
Bob.
Yeah, Russell, just to sort of piggyback off that, obviously Sunday didn't go the way you wanted and with the turnovers and stuff like that. Were you able to put that aside pretty quickly and get on the task of this week, or was that a hard one to set aside? Or
Yeah, I think you have to be able to move on. You have to be able to understand that there's other great teams and other great players too. And you just move on. You just stay focused on the next task. What's ahead of you? And I think that's the case, win or lose. This game will beat you up mentally if you can't do that. And to be able to have amnesia during the good times and the bad is key. And I think that we're 6-2. We're a great football team. We've done a lot of great things this year. We got to tighten up a few things, but I think the reality is that we're right where we want to be, and we got a great matchup this week. And that's the only thing you can focus on is this week.
Art Teal.
Russ, you and Aaron seem to have a fairly friendly relationship, even if he is a icky defensive player. What's the most memorable thing that he has said before, during, or after a sack, and what was your rebuttal?
Oh man, I try not to listen too much. There was one time I think we played on the road. I think it was in LA. Yeah, we played in LA, and we were backed up, and I think I threw it for completion. He was about to take me down. He's ain't gonna do it to you right now, Russ, but maybe next time. Something like that he said. I can't remember exactly, but he's a great player. Listen, I think that I got a lot of respect for how he plays the game. He plays it as hard as you can possibly play it. He's extremely crafty. I've played a lot of great players in my career so far. I think about guys like Bowman and Willis, and Alden Smith was a great player, still is. There's a lot of guys that you could play against. Obviously, Champ Bailey's of the world, and I played against Charles Woodson. I played against Peppers, and I think Aaron Donald is. And there's some of the guys. I think some of the greats, but I think Aaron Donald is definitely probably the best defense player I've ever played for sure.
Michael, Sean.
Hey Russ, with the implementing neutral thinking into the Why Not You Academy, why did you want to do that?
Well, I think that I think what's really important with the Why Not You Academy is to be able to, like I said before, is try to give kids an amazing education, but also try to encourage kids, the thought process is that everything's not going to always be perfect. Everything in life is going to be tough sometimes. But how do you get through it? And how do we think? How do we process? I think in education, a lot of times we teach, math, history, science, and all that kind of stuff. And those things are extremely important. But, how does a kid overcome an obstacle in their life? How does a kid overcome financial situations? How does a kid overcome if they don't have a mom or dad there? And I think that, there's, I think that how do people overcome when you find out you have cancer, and if somebody has an eating disorder, how do you overcome those types of things? How do you think through things? How do you, and I think all of that is all things that we all deal with in different ways. And I think what's so important is to be able to teach kids, the thought process of how to overcome. And we want to be able to build, overachievers. We want to build, people who just, we want to try to teach as many kids as we can, how to process and how to think and how to overcome and how to constantly try to continue to win, and not just win in sports or anything like that, but just, win in situations, win in obstacles, and just know that, better days are ahead.
You've had a lot of educators in your family history, and people just emphasize education. Does Sierra have that in her family background too, and maybe her motivations for wanting to open a school?
Yeah, Sierra actually, she comes from a military family, so I think that with her dad being in the Army and her mom being in the Air Force and stuff like that, I think that kind of started from there. And just she was always traveling. She was always she was a star at a young age. She was able to have a #1 record. I think at like 16, 17, 18 years old. So she was a little different than me playing high school basketball and all that, but. I think that for her, education has been so important, ever since we've met, before that, but ever since we met, we've always talked about that. And I think, she's always wanted to, go back to college and all that. That's why she did the Harvard BIMS, school and all that kind of stuff. And she's done some really cool things around that. And I think for us too, also having kids, it's so important and to be able to, have children and try to, give them the best education possible. And I think the other part to it too is as well is with everything going on with COVID and everything else, we've understood that it's so hard. We have so many close family friends and people who have children and kids, and it's been a very tough year just in general. Not being able to have your kids go to school as much or if at all, and how do we continue to learn and all that. So we've been super focused on on making sure that our kids continue their education and do all that stuff, and that's been really key.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Jen Mueller.
Russ, we know what the stats say, but halfway through the season, what do you know for sure about this offense?
Well, we can score a lot of points, that's for sure. We've been. I'm not sure if we're #1 or not. Still, I don't know, but I know we're the top in scoring offense, and we got a lot of great players. I know that we don't give up, we don't give in, and that's a great thing to have. So, we can all get better as a complete, collective effort. But and that's the thing. I think the journey of a season is you want to continue to build, you want to continue to grow, and I'm excited for where we're going, where we're headed.
Greg Bell.
Hi, Russ. I can't imagine this is the best week to have your center with the concussion against. How unsettling is that, and how indispensable has Ethan Posick been to you guys?
Well, Ethan's been unbelievable all year. I know he's still trying to heal up and do all that stuff. So I don't know that situation or scenario necessarily, but I know Kyle's ready. He's been prepared. He's had an unbelievable training camp. He's done great ever since he's gotten here. He's extremely smart, played a lot of ball in college. So I feel extremely confident about him too. So, he's an extremely athletic guy, extremely smart. I mean, he's a wizard. He's a wizard in terms of, how he takes in information. He's really special in that. So I'm looking forward to Kyle having to step up if that's the case.
And you probably remember, knowing you pretty good memory of games, the time that Jordan Simmons made his first NFL start at the Coliseum. He went against Donald. You guys ran for, I think, 270 that day. What has it been about Jordan Simmons? When you plug him in, it seems to work, whether it's right side, left side, whenever.
Yeah, well, Simmons is such a talented guy. I mean, I met him actually, when I was training at USC, I was training up there, a few years ago back in the day, and I was like, "Who's this big guy? We need him on our team." And sure enough, we ended up, signing him, drafting him, all that. But it was, I think he has a great presence. I think he's extremely talented. He's another smart guy. He stepped into that role. He has no fear when he plays. He's a guy who wants to always step up and always play great. And so I'm looking forward to Simmons, stepping in there and hopefully having a great game.
Brady.
Russ, time for the weekly DK Metcalf question. I think we've heard you mention sort of the potential that you guys have in terms of being up there among the all-time great wide receiver quarterback combos. How much do you talk about that with DK?
And we talk about it all the time. We don't shy away from it. We talk about it almost every day. What it looks like, what it takes, and all offseason. That's what we've been striving for. I think anytime you want to be great in anything, anytime you want to be the best in the world at something, anytime that you have a vision, I think you have to communicate that vision. I think you have to have a plan for that vision, and then ultimately, I think you have to go execute the vision. And I think that's what we're in the process of trying to do. And so we're just at the beginning stages of it all. There's a lot of great players that have played, and it's great to have such a great player in DK, but also the kind of character of guy that he is, and just who he is as a person. He's one of my best friends, and we want to be great together.
He said something about, you texted him recently about Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning. Do you remember that text?
Yeah, I sent him a text about Marvin and Peyton and just receptions, touchdowns, all the stuff that they've done. There's places that we want to try to go and do, and so like I said, you gotta have great targets out there. Those guys you have great people to look to, and you think about guys like Larry Fitzgerald, what a great receiver he's been. Jerry Rice, there's been so many great receivers, and then I think about the quarterback receiver relationships, guys like Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison, obviously. You think about Joe Montana and Jerry Rice, those kind of relationships that I think are connections that you want to build, and I think that we can do that. I think Tyler Lockett's one of those guys too. You can't forget about him either. I mean, he's been special for us the past several years too. So to have two guys like that love the game, that are as good as they are, that's been a lot of fun.
Lindsay Theory.
Hey, Russell. I'm just wondering, I know you talked about Aaron Donald up front, but what's the challenge also with Jalen Ramsey in that secondary for the Rams?
Like I said earlier, I think Jalen's, arguably the best corner in the league. He's just so all the things that he can do. He's so fast. He's got great hands. He's got great instincts. He's tough as can be. He comes to play every day. I got a lot of respect for him. And just we've been around each other at some Pro Bowls and stuff like that, and just to know kind of the type of player that he is and person and all that stuff. So he's done some really cool things, and obviously in his career so far. And like I said, I have a lot of respect for how he plays the game and all the things that he can do. I mean, he's definitely a challenge out there. That's for sure.
And we'll wrap up with Steve Weiss.
Is this the LA crew here? Is this the Linz and Steve? You guys, the LA crew? Huh?
I live in LA, but I cover.
Got you. What's up, Steve?
I have two for you. Have you, with DK really kind of just emerging with such a varied game now? Have you seen teams trying to figure out how to play him?
I think teams try to. I think he's such a special athlete and such a great receiver. He catches the ball so well and makes all the catches. I mean, he's been exceptional all year. I mean, we really had a lot of time together this offseason, one-on-one. We went down to Mexico. We went down to, San Diego, trained a bunch down there together. He basically stayed with me for about a month and a half. We just put a lot of work in and a lot of film, a lot of just life talk and business talk and all these different things. And just we spent a lot of quality time together. And so I think that his connection is very, very strong, as good as it gets. And that's been great all year so far, Steve. I think also, too, is, I think teams have tried to figure out, but the problem is we got so many guys that can catch the ball, and teams know that I spread the ball around for sure. I try to get it to everybody, and everybody can make catches and plays for us. Tyler Lockett's been special. I mean, Tyler went for 200 that one game, and he can do so many great things. Got a bunch of touchdowns. All our tight ends, the running backs even can catch, and all that stuff. So I think it's David Moore's been great all year for us. Swain has stepped up in a couple of big games, and so to have a plethora of guys that can do a lot of different things is always great.
And also, the Rams, they rotate in just so many players. They move Jalen outside, inside. Is it tough to get a beat on them coming in because they just use so much different personnel?
Yeah, they do a lot of different personnel. So, I think the versatility they have, though, I think when you talk about, Steve, when you talk about Jalen, for example, his versatility of playing outside, playing inside, his type of athletic ability is rare, just the things that he can do. So, and he's a great physical tackler, too. So, some guys don't want to tackle. He likes tackling. He likes playing ball, So, like I said, I got a lot of respect for how he plays the game and all the things he can do.
Great. Appreciate it, Russell.
Okay.
Thank you, Russell.
Okay, thanks, guys. Go Hawks.